All right, so it's time to write some code. And, the dude abides a lot of things, but bad code is not one of them. You can see his disapproving look over what we're about to do here. But we're going to do it anyway. So I just opened IntelliJ. I have already created a code quality project. And this is just a console, just a really simple Java console app here. I'm not going to get fancy with it right now because we can write code even in the simplest of circumstances that the dude would frown upon. So let's see, let's get started. I'm going to create a variable up here. And I'm going to try to write some code. It's actually kind of fun to try to write bad code that will break the rules engines that we're going to run against. But you can do it. And I'm going to do that right now. So one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to write some unreachable code. Right? So I'm setting my Boolean up here to false. If it's true that I'm going to do a console print like that, I'm also going to put the curly brace on the next line. That really bugs me when people do that. And it also bugs our check style plugin. So we'll see it yell at us about that later on. Then I'm going to write some overly complicated code. So I'm just going to really kind of drag this out as much as possible. And ultimately, what I'm trying to solve for here is b equal to 4. Right? And if so, and again, I'm going to print something out here. And again, this code's not going to be reachable, but what we're really going for here is the fact that I've got all these nested if statements. I'm going to do a try-catch block. And actually, let me do a throwable here. So I think SonarQube might yell at me about the throwable. All right. I'm going to create a new string here. The wonderful name, my variable. Actually, you know what? Let's name it like this, because it's going to yell at me about that too, about my naming conventions. I know Sonar will, FindBugs might. And then we're going to look to see if we have an argument on the command line. And so we're going to capture that. Let's see, what else can we do? If my variable is equal to SonarQube. Doesn't really matter what results we're getting here. Doesn't really matter what the code is doing. We're just trying to break the rules. And normally I'm a big fan of that, but not when it comes to code. Okay, we'll do an else if in here. Let's see, if my variable is not equal to. And then else, here we go. All right, so that should get us some pretty bad code. It's at least a start for what we want to do here. You'll see that we've got some code that's not executable. We've got a lot of if-else statements in here. We've got some pretty deeply nested decision statements in here. We're catching a throwable, and then we're just doing a print stack trace, and we're using a lot of console output. So with all these things, and we've got our curly braces all wonky. So with all these things, as we layer in our tools, we're going to do FindBugs first, and then we're going to do check style, and then we're going to do SonarLint. As we layer these tools in, we'll go through and they'll tell us, hey, I found a problem. We'll go clean that problem up. You'll see it go away, and gradually the code is going to look a whole lot better. So next up, we're going to take a look at Find Bugs.